Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's celebration of the class of 2022. As we prepare to start today's ceremony, I would ask that you please take your seats and keep the aisleways clear. Also, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices at this time. Thank you. Good afternoon, students, families, friends, faculty, trustees, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 58th Annual Ranney Upper School graduation. It is now my pleasure to introduce Student Council President Addison Basile, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the singing of our national anthem by the Upper School Chorus. We ask that you please remain standing throughout.
Go, Panthers, go, show your pride. Stand united, side by side. Let them know why the honor of best is bestowed on 235 Hope Road. Ranney will be #1 in the hearts of everyone. We're blue and white. We put up a fight. Come on, Panthers, show your pride. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And I ask that you remain standing as the Upper School Chorus sings the national anthem. You may be seated. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Greg Martin, and I serve as the upper school head and assistant head at Ranney School. We are thrilled to welcome family, friends, and guests to celebrate the class of 2022. Some of you may be curious about what today's program will hold, especially with surprises like the Panther Pride song being sung. How long will it be? How have some of the graduates creatively decorated their caps? Who will be our Valedictorian and Salutatorian? Which music will be selected to honor our graduates? What happens after the ceremony? How long will the opening speech last? As human beings, we are curious creatures. This last year, seniors, you have been asked repeatedly where you'll be going to college, and you may also get a follow-up question about what you want to study or do with your life. No pressure, right? I want to assure you that if we've added undue stress to your lives, it's really just because we're curious. Human beings love to know things about each other and the universe they live in. We love to talk to each other, too, about what we've learned about each other and the way our world works. Did you hear about Johnny's home run? Did you hear that Sally got an A on that chem test? Did you hear about Billy's party? Will we find life on Mars? Did Shakespeare write those plays or someone else? When we ask you about your plans for the future, we're really just curious about the world you inhabit and what makes you tick. My wife Courtney recently sent me an article from Inc. magazine about one of the leading indicators of success for leaders. The article does not mince words. One factor ensures a leader's success: curiosity. As you all know, these two characteristics, leadership and curiosity, are important to us at Ranney, as they are two of the 4 features of our portrait of the graduate. We developed this portrait to help guide much of what we do at the school, and because we think these are critical for a human being's success in the 21st century. As such, I was interested to read how leadership and curiosity are related to each other in highly functioning organizations. The author calls curiosity a rare trait, something that may seem odd to us at Ranney. We are, after all, surrounded by curious people all day, every day. So we likely take for granted just how flush we are with it at 235 Hope Road. One of the best part of an educator's day is the moment when we see that a student or a colleague is really interested in something and is just dying to know more about it. That's the essential definition of curiosity, wanting to know more about something. I was lucky enough to teach capstone this year, and trust me, I use the word teach lightly here. I learned more in capstone than the students did from them. Every single student in the class was curious about something and spent a year of their life learning about it. But curiosity is not confined to lengthy research papers or AP classes. Curiosity about golf, robots, friendships, and social events counts too. These all lead us to seek out new and engaging learning opportunities. Sometimes these are formal, as you will discover in your college classes. And some of these are informal, as you will discover in a dorm, a dining hall, a college's athletic team, or a spring break adventure with friends. But the article really focuses more on how leaders leverage curiosity to do essentially 2 productive things. First, curious people draw other people in because they give off a sense that they care about other people. They ask about other people's lives and create social trust, and thus, productive colleagues. Secondly, curiosity also helps solve new and novel challenges. We are faced with some pretty big challenges, and I needn't reference them all here. But I hope you will continue to remain curious about yourself, your family and friends, your colleagues, and the world we live in and what makes it work. I've always felt a little uncomfortable with the proverb, "Curiosity killed the cat." So I did a little superficial research on the phrase. As it turns out, the phrase was originally, "Care killed the cat." Here, care is worry or concern, stress. In the middle of the 19th century, after its appearance in an Irish newspaper, the phrase "curiosity once killed a cat" took hold, and the rest is history. The problem is that the reverse is true. A lack of curiosity kills the cats. They don't seek out food or shelter. They don't learn where dangers exist and where safety can protect them. They can't adapt to the challenges of their environment if they're not curious. Before I close, I want to be sure that we acknowledge the service that 3 wonderful, curious educators have given to Ranney School. As you all know, Mr. Matarassa will be moving on to a new school next fall. Adam has served Ranney for 19 years, teaching, mentoring, and leading. He has worn many a hat at Ranney and helped make so many of us, my family included, feel welcome at school and hopeful for our futures. Adam is a genuinely curious person who learns as much as he can about the people in his life as a way to build relational bridges that make people in his presence feel known and valued. Thank you for your service to Ranney, Adam. We also want to thank Kate Greenberg for a quarter-century of service to Ranney School. Kate, too, has worn many hats at Ranney and has built a premier visual arts program at the school. She served as our Dean of Students and has been instrumental in building programming that helps us understand the diverse world in which we live. Just as importantly, Kate has remained ever so curious about the lives of her students, staying engaged with alums many years after their graduation. Thank you, Kate, for your quarter century of service to Ranney and our students. And finally, we want to thank Dr. Andrea Daniel for her service to Ranney and wish her luck in her retirement. Many of the members of the class of 2022 were in our lower school when Dr. Daniel arrived, and I know she has enjoyed hearing about your many accomplishments because, like all great educators, she is curious about your growth. Her curiosity about innovations in curriculum and pedagogy has ensured that our lower school students build a strong foundation for future academic, artistic, athletic, and social growth. Thank you, Adam, Kate, and Andrea, for helping so many students and families thrive at Ranney for so many years. And just as importantly, thank you to the class of 2022 for inspiring each and every one of us every day with your innate curiosity about the world. We have so enjoyed working with you and learning about you and from you, and will miss the great energy you have brought to campus for the last 4 years. We are grateful for our time together, but we'll always wonder what is on the horizon for you. Do us a favor, indulge our curiosity, and keep us posted. Congratulations, seniors. Please welcome Ms. Leslie Patient, Dean of Student Life, to the stage for our Salutatorian's introduction.
I am honored to introduce the class of 2022's Salutatorian. And while some of you may ask, what does that even mean? I guarantee you the student who holds this honor already knows that it was first used in 1702 as a term to describe the person in a graduating class who gives the salutary or greeting in address to the assembly. Our community has had the ability to watch this student's growth in public performances, from being an imperious monarch to a skid row bum to a striking Austrian heiress. But we've also seen growth in this student's written life, from numerous entries to Ranney's literary magazine, RSVP, and award-winning entries to the Scholastic Writing Awards. Never one to shy from challenges, but also never one to settle for anything less than absolute excellence. I am sure this student still remembers the 99 once received in my English 9 class. What is remarkable about this student is her dedication to her craft, knowing that talent does not supersede hard work. Whether seeking feedback on a Shakespeare monologue, a short story, an arpeggio run on the piano, or bowing on the violin, any faculty member who has ever worked with this student knows that despite the enormous quantity of activities, events, roles she has endeavored to take on, quality has always been her motivation. And for that, our community has benefited greatly in classrooms, on stages, and on pages. I am very honored to introduce the class of 2022's Salutatorian, the one, the only, Lily Eagle.
Good afternoon, classmates, faculty and administration, trustees, family, and friends. It's a joy to be speaking today at this beautiful graduation ceremony. After observing graduation through the lens of playing violin in the orchestra each year, it is truly incredible to me that it is now my turn to wear a cap and gown and stand on stage as a graduating senior. Once upon a time, each of us in the class of 2022 began a unique journey to this graduation day. In my case, I took my first steps onto the Ranney campus as an inquisitive 3-year-old, tiptoeing wide-eyed into the Margaret Man building. Others learned to call this community home as lower school students wearing jumpers and khakis, as middle school students headed to Earth Science or Mr. Doyle's public speaking elective, or as upper school students leaping into a variety of classes, activities, teams, and clubs. No matter when our introductions to 235 Hope Road took place, each of us joined the class of 2022, writing individual chapters that each became an integral part of our overall narrative. It's no secret that I love stories. I thrive on reading and discussing books in English class, have acted in musicals at Ranney every year since 4th grade, and enthusiastically told every one of my lower school teachers, starting in kindergarten, that I want to be an author when I grow up. It won't come as a surprise then that I imagine our time at Ranney as a book filled with colorful illustrations. First, our earliest experiences as Panthers. Halloween parades set to the festive soundtrack of the Monster Mash, grandparents and Friends Day concerts when we lined up in fancy outfits to sing ceremoniously and play the xylophone or drums, international foods and crafts on Colors of the World days, innumerable handmade projects proudly displayed on the lower school walls and toted home in our backpacks as the seasons changed. Back then, the year 2022 emblazoned on our t-shirts, drawstring bags, and other class goodies seemed so far away that it didn't even seem real. Yet, we marched on toward that unwavering date, crossing the lawn to middle school, where we traded single-file lines for a little more freedom to forge our own paths. Our character arcs developed as we gained confidence and exposure to real-world issues while faced with rising action and inevitable plot twists. A new chapter began freshman year when we navigated physics class, study skills sessions, and flex time while learning to balance a rigorous workload and activities. Halfway through our time in upper school, we found ourselves separated by distance and masks, transformed into a collection of pixelated squares on a laptop, and forever changed by an irreversibly altered and uncertain world. And then, when the time came that we finally were able to return to campus, we embraced each day with renewed appreciation, reclaiming and cherishing every opportunity to create new chapters together in person. This year, we led an outpouring of school spirit, decorating advisors' doors for the holidays, cheering at pep rallies, sporting wacky outfits and props on spirit days, filling the audience at events such as coffee houses and the Sound of Music, and relishing every lunch with friends and walk across our beautiful campus. Every moment, no matter how ordinary or simple, took on extra meaning for us. Not just because we waited for over a year to experience these moments again, but because we knew that soon we would leave Ranney to start a new life in college. We learned not to take anything for granted, to treasure the teachers, family, and friends who inspire us, and to be grateful for all of the opportunities in our lives. Look around and marvel at the cast of amazing, vibrant characters surrounding you. To quote Encanto, one of my favorite Disney movies, our class is the perfect constellation of bright, talented young adults. Just like the film's Madrigal family, we are made up of so many stars and everybody wants to shine. We may not be able to grow flowers with a wave of a hand, lift churches and pianos, or communicate with animals, but each member of the class of 2022 is incredibly gifted. Over the past several years, we've each become known for our particular talents and skills: music, student government, theater, sports, quiz bowl, art, robotics, Model UN, community organization, and social advocacy, just to name a few. Our achievements are truly remarkable. We've organized food drives and a variety of fundraisers, broken athletic records, performed senior solos at all division concerts, starred in outstanding theatrical productions, spoken out for racial and gender equality, and surmounted enormous, unprecedented obstacles to reach a successful conclusion to our high school career. It can be easy to define ourselves in terms of our gifts, the subjects in which we excel, clubs we lead, and activities and teams to which we belong. But let's remember that at the end of the day, like Mirabelle tells her family in Encanto, we're really more than just our gifts. The Madrigals discover that what makes them truly special isn't the magical powers that they possess, but how they treat each other, as well as how they use their gifts to serve the family and community. It's our actions, behavior, and unique personalities that shape us into complex, beautiful characters. We're all students and leaders, but we're also young adults, citizens, and friends, amazing people capable of great kindness, creativity, and empathy. Let's use our gifts to enhance the world we live in and to craft the best stories that we can. Class of 2022, our time at Ranney has laid the foundation for the next chapters of our lives. Plenty of new beginnings await us. Keep searching for new talents and exploring the gifts you already have. And remember, as we turn the page to our unique futures, that we have boundless room to grow and endless stories to write. Congratulations to the amazing class of 2022.
Congratulations, Lily. I want to add my welcome to this commencement for the class of 2022. A warm welcome to everyone here. We're delighted to be back at Monmouth University and grateful to be able to recognize this class in surroundings that are familiar after a couple of tumultuous years. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to celebrate this class. These graduates have emerged with incredible optimism and grit despite having only had one truly normal year of upper school. Now we feel, of course, that we've turned the corner, and these 101 students will likely face a much more typical start to college. And we at Ranney have all been excited about the return to more of our routine. As I remarked last year, throughout the pandemic, I've turned more than usual to reading poetry. Maybe it's not surprising for an English major, but apparently I'm not alone in that. Inaugural poet and youth poet laureate Amanda Gorman has become a bestseller. From that, you can conclude that a lot of Americans have found in poetry words to express our feelings. Poetry has always been the salve and solace to us in difficult times of national and personal crisis. Poetry helps us to see clearly and to feel deeply. Indeed, it's a kind of cipher for thought and feeling. Today, as is my practice in moments like this, I took some minutes to write a poem for this class, an occasional poem. I've cobbled together some thoughts and written down over the course of the last couple of years, as well as quotations and interpolations from Amanda Gorman and other poets. I hope our graduates will see it as a testament to their endurance, their resilience, and their ultimate success. This poem is addressed to our wonderful teachers who've supported these graduates on their journey. I can't imagine a better community in which to have traveled in these unprecedented times. To the Ranney School class of 2022, inspired by Amanda Gorman's The Hill We Climb and other poems. There is a poem in this place, a poem in the ineluctable grace and grit with which you have endured these trials, these tribulations, a portrait in every graduate's face. There's a poem painted on Adirondack chairs that punctuate our campus, a poem in cheers that galvanize the air on new turf fields you christened senior year. There's the poem in the sound of music and the sounds of normal, the crack of a bat, laughs and louder calls of friends and of familiars, music beats breathed through speakers and screens, trumpet solos, saxophones or strings, a poem in beginnings and in endings. There is a poem in trigonometry, an elegant proof, an experiment in biology. There is a poem in history, in the literature of the past, not just the glory, but the stumbling grasp in all the music and languages and artistry. In all of your activities, yearbook, sports, diversity, publications, capstones, and forensics, Peter Pan, peer mentoring, and prom, a poem in Spanish, French, or Mandarin. There is a poem in what you've endured, but also more in what you'll conquer. What has seemed cursed, you can cure. What was plagued, you can make pure. Where you've argued, you can agree, not absence of debate, but perhaps civility. Not the gap that stands between you, but the road that lies before you. Not what diminishes you, but what makes you more you. Where you've drowsed, you're now awake. Those moments that you missed can be moments to remake. The moments that you meet and then your hearts, once altogether beaten, now altogether beat. For whenever youth come together, you will overcome forever and put your feelings and the future first. Somehow you've weathered and witnessed times that are not so much broken, but fragmentary and diminished. To be human is to be unfinished, to be the wheel poised for the turning. You Ranney graduates are learning, although you weren't ready for this, you have been steadied by it. A vow that no matter how you've been weighed down, you find a way forward, a way around. Your generation will rewrite this nation, a story at this moment on an earth that needs hope as we need respiration. As we peruse this palimpsest of time, there's a poem in every irregular beat, in every slanted, halted rhyme. Where others rend, you come to mend. Withered, you come to weather. Torn, you come to tend. Not bitter, you come to better. The myth we've read of Sisyphus is not some strange and distant allegory. It resonates, for clearly all of us have rolled that boulder up the hill lately. You can be touchstones for your friends. Turn your tassels toward the left, toward the peers you'll see again. For distance can make hearts grow fonder. From waves of woe you've borne up stronger. And this much we know is true, that even as you grieved, you grew, that even as you hurt, you hoped, that even as you tired, you tried, that you'll be forever linked, forever tied today. How could you have been prepared to be the heirs of such a challenging hour? But within it, you found the power to author a new and glorious chapter, to compose a script of love and laughter. There is a poem in what you've been through, the Ranney class of 22. Congratulations to the amazing and resilient Ranney School class of 22 on their commencement. We're proud of you. We will miss you. Visit often. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Griffith. I would like to welcome to the podium Ms. Erin Adler to present the first award of this afternoon, the Headmaster's Cup.
We often use the image of fire when discussing leadership. It's a powerful force of nature, not unlike today's recipient, who was once described by Miss Goodrow as gentle as a breeze, but forceful as a gust of wind. That said, any leader will tell you, leadership can also feel like a series of fires to put out. Excellent leaders are a bit like firefighters in that way. From the little moments with cats in trees to the fully consumed house fire, they're always there, digging in to accomplish the job. Then they get up the next day and they do it again, because that's what it means to contribute meaningfully to a community. Authentic leadership, though, as displayed by today's recipient, is also found in the quiet moments that nobody sees. It's the late nights of event planning, the hours organizing polos, the creation of bulletin boards, and all of the emails so thoughtfully crafted. Leadership is 5% public-facing and 95% behind the scenes, doing the work that very few want to do and even fewer even know exist. Daring to enter that political arena, even at the secondary school level, requires not just courage, but also sacrifice few are willing to make. Despite joining the community as a freshman, today's recipient is often mistaken for a Ranney lifer, for their love and embodiment of the Ranney mission and values. They bring life to the statement, lead, create, contribute, as few before them have. In the words of Simon Sinek, leadership is not a rank or a position, it's a choice to look after the person to the left and the person to the right. And I want to thank today's recipient for looking after so many people. It is my pleasure to award this year's Headmaster's Cup to Student Body President, Ms. Addison Basile.
Please welcome Mr. Doug Felter to the stage for the presentation of the Female Faculty Prize.
I hate to hear you talk about all women as if they were fine ladies instead of rational creatures. None of us want to be in calm waters all our lives, famously wrote Jane Austen in Persuasion. This year's Faculty Prize recipient has roiled the intellectual waters in an attempt to teach, to learn, and to seek agency in her own life. How else to explain that just this year she has produced a paean to Stephen Fry's self-aware performance of Malvolio in an original practices version of Twelfth Night, an exegesis on the sublime nature of ice cream from Bainbridge Island in Washington to Lenox, Massachusetts to Rome, Italy. A condemnation of those, clearly heathens, who inexplicably fail to use the Oxford comma. An analysis of the poverty of understanding by male authors on what makes women tick. The moral case for not cheating, and a self-deprecating look at all the pop music lyrics she has misheard over the years. I could go on. In her spare time, this year's recipient recently dazzled a Ranney audience with a display of bravura in her piano interpretation of a work by Saint-Saëns, essayed the role of Baroness in The Sound of Music, and captained the academic challenge team in a multiple state competition. It's exhausting just to contemplate. I speak on behalf of all her teachers. It has been an honor. This year's winner of the Faculty Prize is Ranney's own rational creature and fine lady, Lily Eagle.
Mr. Mark D. Giovanni will now present the Male Faculty Prize.
President Dwight D. Eisenhower once noted that the supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible. Though Ike was likely using his military experience to inform that sentiment, when it comes to academic leadership, which we honor here through the Faculty Prize, integrity is paramount. Of course, we expect our students to be honorable and principled. The recipient of this award embodies those qualities. However, he also fulfills the other definitions of the word integrity. He is consistent. He provides stability to his peers, and he is resilient in the face of great difficulties. Whether it is in the classroom, on stage, or behind the scenes of the latest production in Panther Hall, or leading the History Bowl team to victory, he is an excellent example of all of these qualities. Now, that same sense of consistency and stability has led his friends to barging into my homeroom each morning to see if they correctly guessed the color of his polo shirt on any given day of the week. You should always go with green, guys, come on. But this is just a small reminder of how reliable this student has shown himself to be over the past 4 years, in the classroom and as a member of the larger Ranney community. Ms. Maslick refers to him as the supportive netting for so many things at this school. I couldn't agree more, which is why I am proud to award Ryan Biswall with the 2022 Faculty Prize.
Please welcome Mr. Tom Brinkerhoff to the stage for the presentation of the Ann Capel Citizenship and Service Award.
The Ann Capel Citizenship and Service Award is given to a Ranney senior who has demonstrated generosity of spirit and thoughtfulness to all, embodying the qualities most associated with Ann Capel, a former Ranney School math teacher and National Teacher of the Year. This year's recipient truly exemplifies kindness. Throughout the year, this student wrote anonymous positive messages on Post-it notes to leave in classrooms in case a student needed just a little extra encouragement or positivity. On countless occasions, I saw students take these Post-it notes, read the messages, and smile, a true testament to this student's impact, even without being physically present. When this student is physically present, her energy and positivity reverberate loudly, from always holding doors open, helping a peer carry books across campus, to her bright and excited greetings and smile to everyone she encounters on campus. It is common to find this student picking up scraps of garbage that have fallen on the floor in the dining hall, smoothing out pictures on bulletin boards that have been accidentally altered by backpacks traversing crowded hallways, and asking faculty, staff, and students how their day is going, looking them in the eye with a true intent to listen. This student makes each day truly a great day to be a Panther, because she will brighten any day through the warmth of her spirit and her kindness. I am delighted to present this year's Ann Capel Citizenship and Service Award to Megan Pongrak.
And now, Ms. Kate Greenberg will present the Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Award.
One more time. I dare say
there's no more important work than fighting for those who are discriminated against. Challenging the idea of fairness and meritocracy, more often than not, is an uphill battle that does not always make you popular. But this student has the temperament, intellect, compassion, and most importantly, courage that wins students over and helps to move the needle forward. Maimonides, the medieval Spanish philosopher, talked about 8 levels of charity. The highest is when you provide a means for a person to become self-sufficient. We are all familiar with the phrase, give a person a fish and you feed them for a day. Teach a person to fish and you feed them for a lifetime. Putting 2 Nepalese girls through private school education and 1 through a nursing program, this student has led the work of women's studies for the past 3 years. The people at the Turing Fund who coordinate the education in Nepal have said about this student, quote, "We have never worked with a student who we could so consistently count on, who put others before herself and stayed committed long enough to have broken the cycle of poverty and the scourge of child trafficking for 3 young girls. They are now on their way to supporting themselves and their families." Her work with Global Kids, the Human Rights Activist Project, helped train underprivileged youth to be human rights activists. She completed a year-long campaign for health and racial justice in the 5 boroughs of New York. In school, her leadership on Student Diversity Leadership Board has inspired her peers and helped raise the awareness of the importance of inclusion and belonging at Ranney. With students like her, I am hopeful for the future. I am so proud of this kind and generous student and delighted to be giving the Gershom Tomlinson Humanitarian Award to Hazel Smith Foley.
And now, Ms. Neela Boudet will join us to present the Robert Paulis Leadership and Perseverance Award.
Thank you. No, that's okay. So I know you're all thinking, if Neela's presenting an award, it must be to an athlete. But given that over 60% of you play at least one sport, that doesn't narrow it down much. This year's recipient of the Robert Paulis Leadership and Perseverance Award has left his mark on the Ranney community in just a few short years. To quote Shakespeare, "What is past is prologue," meaning that it helps shape who we are, but does not have to define who we become. Our recipient embodies this sentiment. He chooses to deal with pain and sorrow with his infectious smile, brightening the world around him. Leaving his family and moving halfway around the world to help create a new life, this gentleman was met with obstacles and adversity upon his arrival to this country. Upheaval and failed promises had him move several times, but fortunately for us, led him to Ranney School. Then family tragedy struck, and he lost his older brother, his partner on this journey. I will not go through all of the details that could have brought this young man down, because he doesn't seem to let it. He meets each day with a twinkle in his eye and joy on his face. Some lead vocally, some quietly, or not so quietly by example. Ask any teacher or coach, and they will have the same response. This student lights up every room in which he enters. His attitude, intelligence, his smile, his laugh, his actions, and his presence. Oh, and let's not forget his sense of humor and dry wit. To this year's recipient, it is not just about hardship and perseverance. It is about the person that you have become and what you bring to the greater community. Entering a new school is tough. Entering mid-year is even harder. But he created his home immediately, not just with soccer goals and slam dunks, but in the hallway, classroom, National Athletic Honor Society, and certainly town hall. And not every student can have their own theme song. I am proud to announce this year's recipient of the Robert Paulis Leadership and Perseverance Award to Charles in Charge, my friend Charles Anici. My toes don't help.
Mr. Adam Matarazzo will now present the Margaret Man Award.
This year's recipient of the Margaret Man Award entered Ranney School in 2007. At the end of that year, his teacher made the observation that this student consistently made a great effort to learn and was enthusiastic about learning just everything, including cars and music. And a year later, his teacher commented that he was a student who is a great role model for every Ranney student. These specific comments and many others like them would be repeated year after year by other teachers as this student progressed through the lower, then middle, and now upper school. There in upper school, his teachers noted that he never takes shortcuts and utilizes his intellect, determination, and perpetual optimism to make him an invaluable member of every one of his classes. He is game for any challenge and attacks his work with an intense fervor that everyone can feel. Beyond the classroom, this lifer possesses the creativity and leadership to translate his generosity and empathy into concrete action that benefit his school and local communities. He envisions positive change and innovates viable solutions to complex problems. With plans to study finance in college, his strong interpersonal skills, ability to prioritize tasks, and insightfulness will propel him ahead of his peers. Without exception, the teachers of the student single him out as an incredible young man who has never failed in his kindness to others. He has been a friend to many, a cheerleader to all, and a student to emulate. An outstanding citizen and scholar, the recipient of this year's Margaret Man Award is the one and only Anthony Salustio.
Please welcome Ms. Tara Hodson to present the Dr. Lawrence Psychoff Award.
Whoever said jack of all trades, master of none, has clearly never met this student. The Psychoff Award recognizes a student who has made an impact on Ranney through their participation in a variety of areas. This student certainly embodies this idea of being a Renaissance person through her academic, musical, and athletic endeavors. This student has challenged herself academically, taking 6 AP classes and 14 honors classes during her time in the upper school. Additionally, since 3rd grade, this student has been an active member of the orchestra. Dr. Sobieski calls her a bright ray of sunshine, always ready to work, always listening intently, focused, and trying her best. In addition to orchestra, the student is also a 3-season varsity athlete participating in soccer, swim, and lacrosse. Between her academic load, orchestra, and sports, one would think the student has little time for anything else, but that is not true. She's also been a class council member since her freshman year, where I've gotten to see her grow as a leader amongst her classmates. Both faculty members and her peers would agree that this student is authentically herself and is often found doing everything she does with a smile on her face, whether that's on the soccer field, playing her cello, or being the class council secretary. It is my pleasure to present this year's award to Morgan Chandler.
Presenting our final award this afternoon, the Ranney School Leadership Award, will be Ms. Rachel Lazda.
When thinking about how to present the Ranney School Leadership Award, I asked a few people their perspectives of the importance of a good leader and what it meant to be one. I heard a lot of the same answers. A leader is someone who's empathetic and communicates effectively. She is someone who has the courage to uphold the highest level of integrity. A leader is someone whose passion and enthusiasm radiate from her being. This is someone who's a trustworthy friend and an authentic ambassador for her beliefs. Though these are all qualities of a good leader, and certainly characteristics demonstrated by this year's recipient, my favorite response actually came from my dad, who, when asked what a good leader was, he said, "I don't know, just be one." Some of the seniors have actually met my dad, and they know that he's not often very short on words. To me, this year's recipient embodies this description perfectly. Rarely was she ever specifically asked to lead, she just did. And not only that, but she excelled. Throughout her career at Ranney, she took leadership roles through student council, class council, National Honor Society, prom committee, Ranney Medical Explorers, and my personal favorite, the lacrosse captain. This year's recipient is truly an inspiration for her peers, her teammates, her friends, and everyone around her to just be a good one, and in fact, a great one in all aspects of her life. It is my honor and privilege to present this year's Ranney School Leadership Award to Samantha Appleberry.
Congratulations to all of this year's award winners. Please welcome Ms. Marie Curry, Dean of Academics, to the stage for our Valedictorians introduction.
Everyone knows that valedictorians are smart and have really high GPAs, right? This year's valedictorian, Yunxuan Hatham Tang, is no exception. He has an impressive list of academic and co-curricular accomplishments. AP exams in 11 subjects, leadership positions in 8 co-curriculars, ranging from the chemistry club to the chess club, and competing as a valuable team member in speech and debate and history bowl. For some valedictorians, listing these accomplishments on a college application is the sole motivation for their efforts, but not for Hatham. Hatham is indeed blessed with a brilliant mind. Mr. Daly, his multivariable calculus teacher, said of Hatham, his ability to grasp mathematics is unlike anyone I've ever taught. But Hatham is not content with getting the right answer. Instead, his mind is ever and always restless. Dr. Spencer, his AP Chem teacher, said, He examines and debates alternative answers, always asking, what if? And as much as Haytham is committed to a life of the mind, he has also come to an essential realization that his gifts are only meaningful if he puts them to use in the service of others. As a teenager, he's had to start small, helping his classmates work out difficult calculus problems, assisting Mr. Coots and Dr. Spencer in preparing materials for their classes, tutoring disadvantaged children in math and English. But we can already see glimpses of what Haytham might accomplish in the future. He wrote a digital math textbook for children in Nepal. He's spoken of his desire to become a college professor in order to pass on knowledge to the next generation. His capstone project focused on how we can use linear programming to provide a better life for people in a world of limited resources. As for Haytham, I am very sure that he has not yet reached his limit. Please welcome to the podium the valedictorian for the class of 2022, Yunchuan Haytham Tang.
Thank you, Ms. Curry. Good afternoon, seniors, parents, teachers, and all the other members of the Ranney community. It is my honor to stand here and speak to all of you today. On behalf of the class of 2022, I would like to start by expressing gratitude to everyone who has helped us achieve this remarkable accomplishment. Thank you to the administration for providing us with a comfortable and positive learning environment. Thank you to the College Counseling Office for all the valuable guidance and suggestions that paved the way for our next 4 years. Thank you to the faculty and staff who have devoted their time towards pushing us to explore our potential and achieve success. Thank you to Ms. Patient for managing so many different activities while tolerating our wide variety of behaviors and personalities without getting on her last nerve. Thank you to Dr. Spencer for all the words of wisdom as my fantastic advisor. Thank you to Mr. Cruz for being a great teacher and a good friend. Thank you to all the parents who always support us and witness our success. Finally and personally, I want to thank my sister for traveling hundreds of miles to attend my graduation, and my host mom, Ms. Zhu, for her meticulous care and emotional support. My fellow graduates, although the pandemic has vastly impacted our past 2 years, we are fortunate to gather here to celebrate our remarkable accomplishments. Do you still remember the first day of high school when you were excited to explore everything and make new friends? Do you remember March 13th, 2020, when we had our last in-person classes as sophomores? Do you remember Nick Rosato showing his birds in one of our virtual health classes? You will definitely remember Eddie leading the Pledge of Allegiance and Charles serenading us with nice tunes in so many town halls. And surely, if nothing else, you all will remember the funny senior prank we did on our last day of school, our prom and senior ceremonies like this one. Well, when I think back about these memories from high school, it seems that they all just occurred yesterday. Time truly moves fast, my friends, and let's never forget those good old days. Over the past 4 years, we have transformed from teenagers to responsible adults. Each of us has a unique story and experience at Ranney. There are good times and bad times, times of joy and times of tears, times of school spirit, times of senior lunch, and also times of last-minute prepping for a test. We have achieved our goals in sports, academics, and our lives. However, we have also experienced all kinds of obstacles. Yet we improve ourselves through learning to overcome them. We have demonstrated our talents and capabilities in managing difficult situations through our high school careers. And we all deserve a round of applause for reaching this milestone. Today is not only to celebrate the end of high school, but also to celebrate a new beginning. Graduation marks the end of a particular chapter in our lives. With this chapter closed, it's time to move to the next chapter. I know some of us are ready to embrace our bright futures, while some of us are anxious about college life. Frankly speaking, I don't even know what is going to happen after today. However, my fellow graduates, with the hard work and dedication we have all put into our high school careers, I believe every one of us will accomplish absolutely remarkable things after leaving Ranney. Years later, we will become different people, doing different things, in different places. But one thing we share in common is that we will all be proud of ourselves. Seniors, we live in an uncertain world. So many things surrounding us could suddenly change without notice. Life is interesting because there are thousands of different choices and paths that require us to make a decision. We need to think through all the ramifications to decide. But always trust in ourselves and never be afraid to make a decision that other people perceive as irrational. Alan Turing, the father of modern computer science, once said, "Sometimes it is the people no one can imagine anything of who do the things no one can imagine." Confidence leads to success. Wherever you go and whatever you do, it is important to believe in yourself and pursue your dreams. When Greg Mendel published his 3 laws of inheritance in the 1860s, people at that time did not recognize his theories. However, Mendel's work was proven to be true, and he became the father of genetics years later. Be like Mendel. Be confident in your abilities and take bold actions to implement your ideas. But do not mistake self-confidence for overconfidence. Remember to stay humble, open-minded, and take advice from other people to adjust your path when necessary. In addition to having confidence in yourself, it's also crucial to challenge yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Unless you try to do something beyond what you have already mastered, you will never grow." This quote reminds me of the Egg Drop Challenge organized by the Science National Honor Society earlier this year. Participants designed different vessels that contained an egg and dropped it from the second-floor windows of the annex building. Some of the eggs were intact, while the others were broken. Honestly, it was a little scary to watch the eggs break when they hit the ground. But every participant tried their best to create a container. It's just like our life. Successes and failures are common, but what really matters is the will to challenge ourselves. If we fail 1,000 times, it's just 1,000 times that are unfortunately not right. Even if we fail to succeed at all, we at least have learned something from trying. And that is the attitude we need to deal with challenges. Never stop trying. My fellow graduates, it is always hard to say goodbye. This may be the last time for many of us to see each other together as a whole class. But our stories and our relationships with Ranney will never end. Today, we are proud to be Ranney graduates, and tomorrow, Ranney will be proud of us as Ranney alumni. To conclude, I would like to share with all of you my favorite 4 words from The Astronaut by Valentina Zhuralyova. Onward through the impossible. Congratulations, class of 2022. We all made it.
Dr. Griffith, will you please join me at the podium? It is my pleasure to inform you that each of the 101 students in this year's graduating class have successfully completed their course of study in Ranney's upper school and have fulfilled the comprehensive and rigorous graduation requirements established by our Board of Trustees. With the unanimous and confident recommendation of the upper school faculty and administration, I would like to recommend that each of the students in front of you be conferred a diploma from the Ranney School.
On behalf of the administration and Board of Trustees, we accept your recommendation.
Will Mr. Matarazzo please step forward to assist in the presenting of the diplomas? Members of the class of 2022, it is our honor and privilege to begin the process of conferring your diplomas. When your name is called, please come up to the stage, receive your diploma from Dr. Griffith, and accept the congratulations of our board chairman, Mr. Bob Chandler. Let me note that it is a tradition at Ranney School that whenever the child of a member of the Board of Trustees, a past Parents Association president, a member of the faculty, or an alumna, we offer that parent the opportunity to assist with the conferring of the diploma. This year, Kathy Abood and Liz Tolchin, past RSPA presidents, current trustees Michael Abood, Bob Chandler, and Kamal Verdi, Math Department Chair Laura Pongrak, and Ranney alumna Heather Mazza will be invited to join us on the stage for their child's diploma presentation. Additionally, we will ask Allison Reddington, Assistant Head of Lower School, to present her nephew Tucker Scott with his diploma. Seniors, don't forget to look at the camera and smile. Let us begin. Ashley Abood. Samantha Abdelberry. Mustafa Ali Ahmad. Charles In Charge Anichi. Joseph Christian Arej. Cameron Faith Barbanel. Zachary Barron. Layla Ajaya Barthwall. Addison Lynn Basile. George Alexander Baugh. Arisbel Marie Beato. Jacqueline Mina Belkin. Audrey Grace Byer. Ryan Daniel Biswall. Thomas Boyan. Taheen Braswell Brown. Lorenzo Cabana. Alexis Lee Campitello. Alex Canino. Madison Olivia Katniss. Stephen Samuel Seller. Mr. Chandler, are you ready? Morgan Lindsay Chandler. Yunwei Chen. Charles James Kropowka. Oscar Chu. Cynthia Michelle Clark. Nicholas Joseph Caniglio. Christopher John Costanzo. Ashwarya Arup Das. Lily Sage Eagle. Nicole Jean Elwell. Madison Feldman. Christopher J. Flaris. Emma Floyd. Alexandria Elizabeth Forrest. Sonia M. Ghazi. Lilia Foster Gelhaus. Emily Marissa Gazurski. Luke Griffiths. Megan Griffiths. Olivia Grace Haney. Kyle Robert Hannon. Riley Marie Haynes. Wei Wong. Paris Mustafa Haizenga. Maya Jacoby. Lynn Jian. Caroline Barbara Junkin. Brandon James Klatsky. Ella Rose Klein. Kara Ann Koniaris. Morgan Reese Lipinski. Olivia Grace Laurie. Samantha Ava Lazaro. Zhenyu Li. Fonza Lin. Kongping Liu. Alexandria Hope Lachlan. Chengji Lu. Madison Marie Lukoski. Anisha Mon.
Dr. Martin, are you ready? Frances Caroline Martin.
Mrs. Mazza, would you join us, please? Quick. Madison Victoria Mazza. Charles Lowe McCann. Olivia Helen Michaels. Christopher Paul Morali. Julia Eve Moskowitz. Haley Marie O'Donnell. Jet Damon Pacifico. Gabriella Catherine Papalardo. Gianna Victoria Papalardo. Sahil Patla. Brielle N. Polizano. Mrs. Pongrak, would you please join us? Megan Kaylee Pongrak. Ashley Elizabeth Probst. Todd Ethan Rado. Isabel Romero Avila. Nicholas Rosado. Rebecca Lorraine Ryan. Anthony Giacomo Salustio. Dawson Reed Schneider. Mrs. Reddington, would you please join us on stage? Edward Tucker Scott. Vishva Shaw. Hazel Mackenzie Smith-Foley. Brandon Tyler Sobel. Rishi V. Sondi. Louis Edward Spadafora. Mia Ray Stavola. Brooke Ashley Tackett. Yunshan Tang. Mrs. Tolchin, would you join us, please? Reese Emma Tolchin. Christian Edward Trujillo. Christina Justine Uzzi. Charlie Viberg. Mr. Verdi, please come up to the stage. Loveleen Kaur Verdi. Brett Weringer. Eden Taylor Weiss. Alexa Grace Whitman. Sophia Rose Zaslow. Jin Zheng. Longhua Zhu. Class of 2022, please rise and move your tassels from right to left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you for the very first time the graduates of Ranney School's class of 2022. Well done. Graduates, please take this moment to thank your family and your teachers, advisors, coaches, and mentors who helped you achieve this moment with a round of applause. Everyone may be seated. Please allow me to reintroduce Mr. Bob Chandler, Chair of our Board of Trustees, for his closing remarks.
And there you have it. What a deeply encouraging, amazing celebration. And for me, on very many levels. First, I want to officially congratulate the class of 2022. Now, I know I stand between caps being tossed, robes being flung, and most importantly, you all getting to embrace your new graduate. So let me briefly say that being up here at this moment is indeed a special honor. Sharing the stage with these brilliant students is a remarkable experience. It's been joyful, rich in tradition, and unforgettable. In closing, I want to say nothing demonstrates the significance of Ranney better than what we've witnessed here today. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to acknowledge the months of effort that went into fine-tuning today's ceremony. It was a seamless partnership between parents, teachers, administrators, board members, and the many friends who contribute so much to the school. Also, on behalf of the board, I want to thank Greg and Greg, along with faculty participants, plus Team Tracy Machiga, for their insights and spot-on observations regarding the many outstanding accomplishments of this class, the largest class ever to graduate from Ranney. I must say, it is a very, I would say, acclaimed and enthusiastic 101 students. So class of 2022, say goodbye to your high school days. They now reside in your rearview mirror. It's full steam ahead on the exciting road to your future. Never stop learning and always love what you do. Finally, let me get a jump on wishing you a happy Memorial Day weekend. Godspeed. Our very best to you and your families. Congratulations.
Graduates, as you recess from the arena, please head to the courtyard off the main entrance for the tossing of your caps. Families, we ask that you please head to the main concourse level for refreshments while we take the photo. Dr. Sobieski, thank you all very much for being here. Congratulations to the class of 2022.